Hey folks, Scott Johnson in Oregon City here. Give you an update on our layout tour. Had a few changes since the last one. Mainly I got a tripod, so the camera filming won't be quite so terrible. We're going to look in and see a southbound Southern Pacific freight about 1995 or so, rolling through downtown Oregon City. Upgrade. Now, Oregon City is my hometown. This is N scale. We've set from the Portland subdivision in the Portland Yard or Brooklyn sub down through Oregon City, past the soon-to-be defunct Blue Heron Paper Mill, and we're sliding out to some beautiful Oregon countryside. Good old Mount Hood in the distance. And we're going to come through some generic high Oregon Cascade area. We got the CJ Paper Mill. Got a sawmill here. And here comes a typical lash up from the mid-90s. We have an SD45 tunnel motor built in 1975. Got an SD9 built about 1955, and GP20 built in the 60s. SP was just about ready to go into Union Pacific at this point. You see a variety of motive power. I'm pretty loose with our layout. I like to run trains that I've seen. I like to recreate scenes that I had with my son when we were both a lot younger, watching trains through Oregon City and Canby. I'm not one of these guys that tries to get car X, Z, Y, 1, 2, 3 at a certain industry at a certain time. I just like running trains, and I like running trains that I've seen. I run all sorts of different eras on this layout, even though we're set in the Portland area. Here we're coming down through alongside Brooklyn Yard. And we're going to go by the Brooklyn Yard Roundhouse. Now in this certain picture, you'll notice, we're going to dive in a little closer and take a look, but you'll see a suspicious ex-D&H Alco PA back there that Doyle McCormick brought to Portland in the year 2000. It's now restored as nickel plate 190 at the Oregon Rail Heritage Center. But we'll get in there and take a look at this a little bit. So we've got Southeast Portland, the Brooklyn Yard, and go on, you can see Council Crest in the background. I grew up along the Southern Railway in the 70s, and in later videos you're going to see the Southern Crescent, you're going to see the Piedmont, you'll see Amtrak's James Whitcomb Riley, you'll see some Southern freights, some C&O freights. Like I said, I just like to run what I saw growing up. And we'll zoom in here a little bit, and we'll show you a little bit more of Oregon City. For our look at Oregon City, we'll start here at the High Rocks area, crossing the Clackamas River. Got a nice little neighborhood here. Oregon City's in 3 layers. The downtown layer next to the city, next to the Willamette River. Good old Tom Bush furniture. We bought more than one item there. First Bank of Commerce. Downtown. You'll see tracks here. In the 90s there was street running. You'll notice the Southern Pacific switcher and some wood chip cars blocking Highway 99. And we'll stop and watch this freight come by. It's the tunnel for 99 under the railroad tracks. We'll kind of look here at the Blue Heron Paper Mill. It's being revitalized, but like I said, this is set in the mid-90s. So this is just a small representation of the paper mill area. Once we leave Oregon City, we get out into the countryside. Beautiful Mount Hood in the background. Typical Oregon farmhouse. What a great view they have. All sorts of animals out there. They don't mind the trains coming by. And of course it wouldn't be Oregon without a few Christmas trees for sale. Our tour takes us to the CJ Sawmill. Just a small Oregon industry, using that old boxcar as storage. People hard at work. Well, sort of. Got a newer unit there to do some switching. We'll move over. Here comes our train coming through the tunnel. You see Mount Jefferson in the background. Looking at the tunnel, you'll see some graffiti. Looks like that CJ and SJ were here in '87. Wonder who that could have been. We've hurried down to Mike's Drive-In in Milwaukie, Oregon, just south of Portland, to watch our train come through. Great place to get a burger, watch some trains going down to 1% grade. Great burgers, great train watching. A wonderful place. While our train waits for permission into the yard, we'll take a little view through the roundhouse here. You'll see Doyle's Alco PA, the condition that he brought it up from Mexico in. See also his Great Northern F7, which nowadays is down on the Oregon Coast Scenic Railway. The star of the roundhouse, Portland's 4449, getting a little sun. Also inside are SPNS 700 and Oregon Navigation 197. So looking up over our train, we can see the daylight. We can see some of the excursion cars used. Great Northern Car Traveler's Rest, used for excursions. And our XSP baggage car, and then an excursion car. A line of dead cabooses. A hint of the future with our double stacks for intermodal. The rest of the yard facilities. Even found a cotton belt locomotive still there from parent SP. As our train creeps through Brooklyn Yard, we see one of the old popsicle painted SPs in the back. You can see those accompanying the daylight on excursion runs in the 80s and the early 90s. that scheme didn't last too long, and pretty soon everybody was wearing Union Pacific Armor Yellow. That'll conclude our tour for right now. Later on, we'll dive in and see some different Rainbow era trains, some Southern Pacific Freight, Union Pacific Freight, and some Amtrak Coast Starlights. Thanks for watching.